Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene sound of Just About Crusader Season 2. Tonight, we set the scene back within the domain of Giles, Clan Toreador. Within the lovely, well-furnished church that used to be the home of Lady Beatrice and Father Carter. As the Lady Beatrice once again revisits her old stomping grounds, she has invited another Cainite, one from a clan that has not been traditionally friendly with the Toreador of this city, to speak with her, as they had such a lovely interaction last time, and he gave her such lovely gifts that smelled absolutely beautiful. Like the Gardens of Babylon. Well, probably not that good, because not Class 9, but pretty close to that good. As close as a mortal can get. Which is about as much praise as one can give, as much as it is damning, as you are still comparable to a mortal.
God damn it, Chris.
Oh, you got a lot of successes, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But hey,
I gotta so much XP I can get.
I can only get so much crafts, damn it. Why can't I have more crafts? Why can't I just make this character crafts everything? Yes, you have been invited to this church. Just you've probably passed this church a couple times, to be honest, a few times. It's fairly notable in Desserina. It's not a cathedral. It's not super large. It's actually fairly humble in its size. What makes it noteworthy is the garden appears extremely well kept. Um, and uh, the brickwork and the windows. This is a building that's not only been made to last as most buildings in the Dark Ages, but also appears fairly well maintained. It doesn't necessarily look like it was built in a spectacular fashion, but it's clearly looked after. It's in no state of decay. It doesn't look particularly rough around the edges at all. It looks very clean. Of course, it's still dusty as it's in Odessa and the Middle East. Still dust everywhere, but it doesn't look particularly run down or look like it's it doesn't look like it's patronized by poor people. And the windows themselves are stained glass, which is very rare for a building so small, particularly in this era. Stained glass windows require a lot of time, effort, and money to create, and are usually reserved for much more prestigious buildings such as cathedrals or buildings with very, very wealthy backers willing to shell out the money for that to happen, which isn't particularly common. And yeah, so it is quite a lovely looking building. And yeah, you may walk in whenever you wish.
Hakeem will walk in rather pleasant. He is excited, anxious almost, to the point where he is feeling, I don't know, a weird sense of jubilation, alive almost. He hasn't felt this way in quite some time. And the fact being that there he might even feel smitten by someone. Not really sure how he feels about the feeling, since it has been so long forgotten. However, he does remember the go of it, almost the thrill of it, the act of courting, the act of getting someone's attention, and in turn hoping that such attention would be fruitful. With that, he makes his way in, and in his typical fashion, he is indeed holding a parcel, but he keeps rolling it around in his hands, almost as if it is a particular fastidiousness, a queer personality quirk.
Um, as you head on in, you you just find Beatrice in quiet contemplation, just reading Bible actually. Um,
Good evening. How are you?
oh, as soon as she sees you, she snaps the book up and kind of, she kind of as soon as she snaps the book, she almost snaps up herself
Mm.
from her chair, or not her chair, but from the benches, and she
Mm.
says, "Oh, Hakeem, so glad to see you."
It's so good to see you too, Lady Beatrice. How have you been? How do you like our fair city? Staying out of trouble, I hope.
Oh, I
Kind
just
of
want to take a
grins.
moment to say that sounded so sleazy.
It does.
Hey, Beatrice, how you doing? I'm sorry. It's too good. I'm terrible.
It's fine.
I'm bad. I'm bad. Um, she just says in return, "Oh, would never do anything of the sort. Not hopefully, anyway."
He smiles. It's almost, I guess, a little boyish, a little impish. Almost, he's teasing. And what were you reading, if I can be so bold?
You're already gonna make me look up the version of the Bible I was reading. I have to. God damn it! Why? Um, I was just reading. She just kind of shifts the book, like she turns it and kind of lifts it so you see it. Um, and you see it's not actually the Bible, although it does resemble it and it is in a church, so it's easy to make a mistake. But you can see that she's reading the Pauline epistles or the letters of Paul.
Mhm.
Basically, a set of uh, New Testament books. She is reading
Which epistle?
Galatians.
Gotcha.
Just the fourth one in the series after the Second Corinthians.
Mm. Still smile. Uh, so how would you describe your, I guess, devotion to,
Hmm.
I guess what I'm hinting at or even saying is that you've always struck me as such a the studious type, being that most people can't be bothered with reading.
I find that it's usually because most simply can't or are discouraged from doing so. But I am not. I'm not as focused on scripture as my grandchild is. I wouldn't consider myself as much of an expert. I
Uh,
consider my faith to be more personal.
Care to elaborate? One devoted Muslim to a Christian. I do enjoy these very spirited debates.
Hmm. I personally find that while the devotion to scripture is admirable and necessary, I find that when I find myself in such debates, it comes down to something more akin to semantics or mortal legal argumentation rather than the more important spiritual questions.
Well, I couldn't think of my my faith as the same as someone who is of the kind. That seems a bit limited. I mean, of course, my faith, such as it is, would have to take on a different form.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, how do you mean?
I mean, being that oftentimes we can often play the part of the sheep. We aren't sheep, and to essentially claim that, or rather neglect the claim that mortals and canines are similar is a little obtuse.
Hmm. Well, I agree. I don't think we're sheep, but I wouldn't consider mortals sheep either.
What would you consider morals?
Hmm. I don't think there would be any animal I could compare them to after all. They were humans, mortals were the Lord's magnum opus, and they have been a driving force of this world and much of its history.
That is very astute. But I don't mean an animal insofar as a beast of burden. I mean it so far as the fact that they are something to be cultivated, treasured, in so much as I think that we become shepherds in a sense, that we know things that they couldn't possibly comprehend. Though we do have a very interesting correlation. We share some things, but we often can't be responsible for. I guess what I'm saying is that they have the joy of a certain amount of ignorance. It's almost blissful if you think about it.
Hmm. She gives this matter some thought, actually kind of causes her to think. I would say that is only because that ignorance has been enforced there.
Hmm. How
It
so?
was. I would not say it is the greater plan of any particular force other than ourselves, and to a great degree of mortals who often seek to keep their own ignorance,
Hmm.
but she doesn't seem too pleased at.
He looks and he studies her in a way as if he's looking for when somebody's curiously studying a subject. There's rumors that you are I suppose, a devoted humanist.
That I am.
Hmm. One would say that you take a certain amount of joy in it. Is that true?
I do, and I'm rather fortunate to be able to do so. Many of us are not so lucky.
Hmm. Luck, such as it is not really. How should we say? Really a factor in so much as chains of coincidence. Look at me, I'm telling my age, but luck is something that we typically attribute to luck, which is something I just don't believe in.
Hmm.
We're too dynamic to be too dynamic to be tools of luck. Coincidences maybe, but not luck.
I do think that we are certainly not tools of luck, although to many and perhaps the boldest among us, it often turns out to be their best defense, particularly against those who set the game against them.
You make me sound devious, Beatrice. That's not nice.
Oh, I didn't mean to suggest you're devious.
He chuckles.
Only only that chance is sometimes our only recourse. It's certainly not unwelcome.
Do you believe in chance or luck? It seems to be the word of the evening.
Hmm. Chance and luck? I think so. I think there is always an element of randomness in our lives. Something I'm sure many of us would be quite glad to be rid of. But I believe it is good. It gives us an element of freedom we'd not otherwise have.
Freedom. That is, it's a quaint illusion. I think that it is very. It's people who have power and people who don't. I rather think that choice is something that is to be garnered. You can move the actions, but there's definitely a mechanism when at least it becomes to those that are not looking at the bigger picture.
Mm. Well, surely those who have the power are free, are they not? Even if that power has taken freedom from others.
And such as we subsist. But I also believe that our day to day actions can be different if we paid more attention to them. Insofar as going through the motions. But then again, this is pretty philosophical. I do have something for you.
Oh, you're spoiling me.
Nothing against spoiling a beautiful woman. Or else I'm stepping on somebody's shoes. If I am, I guess the next question would be, do I care? Yeah, he hands over the gift. uh, and a nice shaped bottle like this.
Ooh, bonus points.
Yeah.
Um,
I will be happy to let you know, dear Beatrice, that you were the inspiration for this.
she. Hmm. Roll perception empathy. I actually need to set up dice roll somewhere.
You do.
Every time I never set up dice roller. I'm the not set up dice roller guy. Um, so many updates. What do I call this? Dice roller free.
Okay.
She might actually. I'll have a roll against this because this is something she perhaps keeps herself. Dishonest, but she can. There are some things she just prefers not to share.
Uh, so I guess I'm rolling perception empathy then.
Oh yeah, just roll perception empathy and dice roller free.
Okay. 2 successes, defender.
Hmm. Uh, oh, that's unfortunate. You don't quite succeed. She gets 2 successes to defend, and defender wins. So,
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, there is. You do get this. This does get her thinking in a way that's perhaps not the immediate. OMG! Wow, really? You did this for me? Oh my god.
Mm.
But she doesn't appear offended. Rather, her reaction is a strikes yourself as a slightly odd. But just tilts her head and looks at it and
Mm.
just says, "You really are too good to me. You know this."
Maybe not good enough. I don't believe in misleading.
Alas, you should not give a lady the same gift twice, or she may figure you out on the third time.
He kind of takes his mouth back and very, in a mock fashion, covers his lips. It's almost in mock offense. He looks at her again and says, "So you're saying my talents are good enough?" Or should I be more skilled for your taste? Or are you making another assumption?
Oh, Hakeem, I certainly think you're talented enough. You're definitely very talented. That I will give you.
No, I'm just a tease. Don't take me too seriously. But seriously, all jokes put aside, you were the inspiration. Smell.
Thank you. I appreciate this. I really do.
I often find that simplicity is the simplest way to show. Going grandiose just means you're trying too hard.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. Was my sire trying too hard when she gave a Primogen her gift?
I believe your sire had a definite directive in what she was doing.
She's more precise than she appears.
Mhm. Yeah.
She says, as if that is yeah, as if that is something entertaining that she enjoys. A
He
bit in a
looks at.
sort of guilty pleasure sort of way.
Mhm.
Like I shouldn't feel good about that, but I must admit it is funny.
And then, like, once he's like looking at her, he just cracks a smile. It was just like, it's what we do. I mean, if we just contemplated our navels all day, what would be the fun in that?
Hmm. I don't know. I suppose we should ask the Cappadocians.
Now you're just being catty.
They are studious. I'm not saying they're wrong.
He kind of turns up his lips and like, I don't believe you.
I mean,
You're being a big bully.
Beatrice is like, no, I'm not a bully. Stop. I'm just saying they have their trends and we have ours.
And
I
what are
don't
your
care. Only that is what they prefer to do.
toward or not judging? It's like an Assamite that isn't skilled in other activities. I don't believe
Mm.
it. I'm saying one is a we wear interesting masks, but we really can't deviate from what we are too hard.
Mm. I suppose that depends on what we are.
And what are you?
Mm. Just a young lady with a lot of extra time on her hands.
Yeah, that's a perception empathy. Yeah.
And go ahead, she won't actually roll against you on this. You get 5 successes. Yeah, you definitely get the sense that she seems to genuinely believe that statement in that she's not necessarily saying she's not talented or she is not special.
Mhm.
in some way, but that she's not inherently greater than other people. She doesn't seem. She sim. What
Sense of
she
like
is.
genuine humbleness.
Yeah, she simply sees herself as nothing more than a person. There is, although she does present herself well, she does not present herself with some sort of regal bearing. She does not attempt to project power. Um, you get the sense that she doesn't really see any need. You almost get the sense that the way she has behaved before you is that you're not sure whether she would not see the point. She would not yeah, she seems fairly distant from the sort of power hungry paradigm that most Canaanites follow. She definitely is a few steps removed from that. She doesn't. Like, she seems to literally uh, portray herself as someone who sees literally no need whatsoever. Like it's almost as if it's in a way it's it's beyond her, not in understanding, but in philosophy, if you get my meaning.
Mm.
Like she just doesn't feel compelled to it.
To the nightly affairs of being, I guess. Yeah.
One moment.
Mm.
What did you say about her nightly affairs? Sorry.
He was basically saying her nightly affairs and basically what she's seen in her comment about not being amused by it. It's a bit contradictory. But the contradictory is interesting.
So is he saying that she's acting contradictory, or?
Oh, he would never tell a woman she was acting contradictory. He doesn't want to be shown the door.
um, you seem somewhat
But
concerned. Did I say something wrong?
no, I was
Actually,
just
I'll have a roll perception empathy on you as well, because you did that. And she gets 5 successes.
um equal parts amused and delighted.
Hmm. Fair enough.
As if yeah, with as if seeing something with different eyes. There's like a newness in the way he's staring at her.
I think it is important to have to understand the other perspective, even if that. I think it's important to understand different perspectives, even if initially they come across as wrong or even dangerous. I think it's even more important among our kind who often vary so wildly in our sense of selves, especially in relation to that other part of us.
I mean, even me talking to you, knowing what our history is, clan speaking is. I guess I enjoy a bit of danger and mystery.
I can only begin to imagine the adventures you've been on.
Mm. My adventures are something of a tale.
Certainly more thrilling than my own.
I doubt that. Being that, from what I've seen, the way Toreador conduct themselves and how they all seem to be on the surface oblivious, almost unaware, but that could be the furthest thing from the truth. That there must be others that are very eager to have what you already possess.
And what do I possess?
Hmm. You have a devotion and adoring almost something slightly deeper than familiar from what company you surround yourself with. And you have that in abundance.
Or what's he saying she has, sorry?
He's basically saying that she has adoring love and people that care a great deal for her in a more straightforward way.
She twiddles her thumbs a little bit before they settle. I have found it is best not to pressure others. Hmm. Not everyone wants, needs, or appreciates such things, but I am very lucky to be around people who look after me as they do. I would not have been the person I am now without them. I can imagine if my existence had been a colder one, like many neonates I've come across in these nights, that I'd be quite a different person. Not one I believe I would be happy with. She comes across as strangely sobered.
I feel as if you're searching for something.
Maybe, but I think we all are.
Quite specifically, yes, we're all in search for something, I guess. But more so to the subject of you, since I find you so interesting, is your last statement.
Oh, do tell.
I feel as if you carry, your words are extremely weighted, almost as if we're conducting business.
Oh, I didn't mean to sound so formal. It's just, it is a hard thing for me to explain.
Mm,
It's something I've always had trouble expressing,
mm,
at least in words.
mm. I suppose expression takes many forms and shapes. Oftentimes, I feel as if there's a chance for me to express something that I normally, under any other circumstances, wouldn't be able to express while talking with you.
I'm glad. I hope it's helped in some way. I hope I'm able to repay the favor. I haven't really been able to express myself properly to you, if I'm completely honest.
I think mm, such expressions have to be earned, and I don't besmudge you. One thing I've learned is the art of being patient.
I don't believe we'd be able to live our lives as we do without learning patience.
I'd be dead, just to put a finer point on it.
as our lives extend, we must learn to be patient with ourselves.
Are you being philosophical? Or are you talking about yourself?
Both. I think it applies to both me personally and on a larger scale.
Hmm, that is fascinating. There are definitely different subtle notes to you. Hmm.
Well, I certainly hope so. I wouldn't be much of an artist if I didn't.
Oh, hmm. With that, he smiles and I do hope you enjoy the gift.
I will. Hmm. Unfortunately, I'll be leaving Odessa within a few days, but when I return, I'll see the fruits of your labor, and so will you.
Mm, if you allow it, I do need to come to Vera for business, but I would definitely like to see you again.
And so would I, Hakeem. You're always welcome at my Elysiums.
Hmm. I am eagerly awaiting that chance. And who knows, maybe I'll be pushed to develop another skill, as you so finely put.
I'll be looking forward to it. She kind of finds a bit of brevity and smirks, or levity rather.
Hmm, who knows? You might entice a bit of jealousy if you continue on the way you do. Hopefully, no one else catches your eye.
I'm sure I can assuage those around me of such negativity.
Negativity. Funny word. That breeds such positive emotions. He smiles at her again. Well, my dear, I believe the night is dragging on. And I'd hate to keep you from your quiet time.
It's it's just a hobby. You're always
Per-
welcome to return.
Perhaps when I come to visit you again, I'll be able to. Hmm, you can actually tell me more about your hobbies. You, or if you don't, I do enjoy a challenge.
She kind of considers that. I find everything is always best to end.
Excellent. And with that, he will, if she'll allow it, he will gently kiss her palm and then excuse himself.
She allows you to do so. Goodbye, Hakeem.
Yep, he's
See you soon.
yes.
And thank you again for the gift.
Like I said before, I aim to please.
You're good at it.
Uh, my critic seems to think otherwise. He gives another smile.
And I think of that, we can end our scene.
Yes, indeed.
And, thank you for playing. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. As Beatrice just sees Hakeem, gazes upon Hakeem as he walks away and just mutters to herself, "Nice watch."